Ladies and gentlemen, the Nintendo Switch 2 is great because it has a bunch of amazing games, and now more and more games are coming out left and right, so much that there's probably some really good games that you might have missed. And in this video, that's exactly what we're talking about. 10 amazing hidden gems on the Switch 2 that you need to play. Very simple. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. So, the Nintendo Switch 2, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's the whole video. I'll see you guys later. Anyway, the Switch 2, it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great games that are popular that you know about. There's even greater games that are unfortunately hidden gems for one reason or another. So that's what we're talking about in this video today. The only real caveat is there has to be an official Switch 2 edition of these games, right? It can't just be a great Switch game that runs good on the Switch 2. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep these communities growing. And let's go and get right into it. So the first game I want to talk about is MINISHOOT Adventures. Fly your way from the shiny overworld to the deepest caves, improve your ship, and overcome the dungeon bosses to rescue your friends. The Unchosen has returned. His minions have emerged from the underworld. Your village has been destroyed, and all of your friends are now trapped in a corrupted crystal. So you need to embark on a journey to save the world in this bullet-filled adventure. So maybe you've seen this game. It went kind of like semi-viral, I guess, or it had a little bit of hype around it. And the reason why I think it was hitting the news waves, or at least the gaming news waves, is because a lot of people are saying that it plays like an old school Zelda game. And that's actually why I first got intrigued. I'm like, what? And it actually turns out this little game where you fly a ship kind of reminds me of The Legend of Zelda. It's a great game. A little cozy, actually. You know, maybe it's the graphics or just kind of the nostalgia, even though it's a new game. But it kind of feels like a cozy game that you just relax and play here and there. You know, you could probably beat this game in a weekend. Actually, I haven't even got close to beating it yet, so I don't know. But you could probably play through it relatively quickly, but it's something I've been taking my time with, and I just really enjoy this one. So I also have to mention Scott Pilgrim EX. And I can't remember exactly what game came out the same day as this. I want to say Resident Evil Requiem or another big release came out the same day, so that's the reason why I feel like this one was overshadowed. Or the only other reason you might not have played this one is if you never played the first Scott Pilgrim game. And I know, there's a huge range of beat 'em ups, right? And it's probably one of the genres I've scratched the surface the least on. But in my humble opinion, I think Scott Pilgrim, the first one, is the greatest beat 'em up game I have ever played. A lot of people from the first game also worked on this one, and I think this actually might be the same team who worked on Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is another incredible beat 'em up game. So yeah, they are beat 'em ups, but there's a lot of death, they're a lot of fun, and essentially, this is just a better version, albeit like a new game, but just better every single which way possible over the first game. And I like the Scott Pilgrim movies. And I think there's actually a manga as well, or an anime or something. So Scott Pilgrim is pretty cool, and the games are a lot of fun. Now let's talk about Core Keeper. In this game, you'll explore an endless cavern of creatures, relics, and resources. And this is a mining sandbox game, I guess. But what's really cool is you can play from 1 to 8 players, and that's great. On the Switch, I think it might be 1 to 4 players, but on the Switch 2, it's 1 to 8 players. This is a game that I recommend all the time whenever it's on a Nintendo eShop sale, and it's because it's just a really good game. You need to mine relics and resources to build your base, craft new equipment, survive, and power up the core. You also need to defeat giant monsters, discover hidden secrets, farm crops, cook new recipes, and explore a procedurally generated underground. And sometimes I'm not a fan of procedurally generated stuff. I kind of feel like it's like a lazy way to have a gimmick in a game. But in this game, it just fits like the theme of this game, and it works really well. And this is a game you can truly get lost in and spend so many hours and still find stuff to do. And I think the graphics are also just really nice to look at. So a really interesting game that came out recently, maybe about a month ago, that flew under the radar just completely, it feels like, is ChromaGun 2 Die Hard. And I'll be honest, when I first learned about this game, like, I didn't know that it was a sequel. I was like, ChromaGun 2 Die Hard, Is the 2 mean a sequel? And it turns out, yeah, it was a sequel. So welcome to Chromatech, the universe's leading producer of the ChromaGun. Here at Chromatech, colors are magnets. Well, not exactly. They're a physical property of the pan-dimensional realm, but it's a bit more complex than that. So when you read that, you're like, what? Because that's what I thought at first. Then I did a little research, because just by watching the trailer, I was thinking, this game kind of reminds me of Portal a little bit, like that's the vibes I'm getting. And it turns out, yeah, that's the vibes that they're trying to give off. They were heavily inspired by the Portal series, which is, one of the greatest series of all time. This is a game I've had quite a bit of fun in, and it just gives you Portal vibes, like the humor in it, the graphics, the gameplay. It's just a super fun puzzle game, essentially. So arguably one of the best games to come out recently, and before this game launched, I even said a few times, unfortunately, I think this game is going to become a hidden gem just because there's so much stuff coming out, and that is for Mio Memories in Orbit. Now, what's interesting is this game was shown off all the way back in I want to say 2024 in a Nintendo Direct, maybe even 2023. It was shown off a long time ago. It looked really interesting, and then nothing, radio silence. So then it makes you worry, man, is that game canceled or what's going on? But I think in an Indie World Showcase or something, they finally showed it off again, gave us a release date, and then it came out recently. And I know there's so many games coming out, there's so much good stuff, great indies, AAAs, all that. But man, this game is a masterpiece, and it's one of the best Metroidvanias I have ever played. And this is a genre, I've played as many Metroidvanias as I possibly can, but this game is phenomenal. Awaken as Mio, a nimble robot with extraordinary abilities, and unravel the mysteries of the vessel, an enormous technological ark overgrown with lush vegetation and machines gone rogue. Will you rise to the challenge and save the vessels from destruction? Will you dare to seek and wake its memories? This really is such a solid experience, and I know Metroidvanias aren't for everybody, but if you do enjoy them or you want to try something maybe a little different, Mio Memories in Orbit is a must-play game. Now it's time to talk about Cast and Chill. Yeah, a fishing game. Maybe even back on the PS1 era moving forward, there used to be always hunting and fishing games on pretty much every console, and you never really remembered buying them, but I feel like everybody had them, and they're actually pretty fun. So maybe they're still coming out and I'm just not in tune with it, but none of them really catch your attention anymore or do something a little different. But Cast and Chill is great. This is a laid-back fishing game for folks who would rather wet a line than break a sweat. Whether you're drifting on a lazy lake, poking around a winding river, or dropping lines in the salty blue water, this is a game where you can play at your own pace. It's great because, you're fishing and catching stuff, then selling it and upgrading your gear. So it's essentially like a fishing RPG when you think about it. And then you're going to explore new areas, different kinds of water. And it's awesome because sometimes you kind of know what you're getting into, what kind of fish you would expect. But then sometimes you'll go to a new area and then you'll catch another fish and you're like, whoa, what the hell is this? And I think there's over 50 different fish to catch. So it's fun to try to catch all of them. Yeah, it's just a great game. Again, kind of like a cozy, chill, relaxing game. I can't recommend this one enough. So I've mentioned it probably 20 times at this point, but I've been skateboarding my entire life. And a big reason, or a big part of that, is playing Tony Hawk all the way back in 1999, or whenever the hell the Pizza Hut PS1 demo disc came out, right? Played the game, was hooked, I've been skating since then, and I've played every single skateboarding game out there, probably even some you've never heard of. And it is so easy for me to say that Skate Story is easily the most unique skateboarding game I have ever played. You are a demon in the underworld, made out of glass and pain. The devil has given you a skateboard with a simple deal. Skate to the moon and swallow it, and you shall be free. You need to skate fast to destroy vicious demons, help a forgetful frog, and save other tortured souls on your journey from fragile beginner to hardened skater. Push through hell and discover the devil's greatest weakness: humility, perseverance, and disgustingly sweet backside tail slides. It's funny reading that. It's if you don't skateboard, you probably don't even know what the hell that means. But yeah, it's a skateboarding game. When you first start playing, the controls and what you're able to do is a little tricky. But as you play, you'll learn the controls and then unlock different moves. And it's such a good ass game. I think this is a Devolver digital game, and they just make some of the weirdest and best games out there. So this fits our vibes 100%. Yeah, again, even if you're not a skateboarder, if you don't know anything about it, really, I would still check this one out. So now I need to tell you about a game. It's about a baby, right? You might think CoComelon, Boss Baby. It's none of that. It's a game called Goodnight Universe. Man, this game right here, let me tell you, it is not the longest game, maybe 5 or 6 hours. But those 5 or 6 hours are so impactful that it just leaves you like sitting there thinking when the game was over. The premise is simple. You're a 6-month-old baby named Isaac. You're developing mysterious psychic powers. What you want most is to be loved and accepted by your family, but a secretive tech corporation wants you for their own. So you're a baby, you have psychic abilities, and you're like manipulating stuff and making stuff move and solving basically this little checklist. But then there's a story going on in the background. Something that really surprised me is the voice acting. It is incredible. And this is easily one of the best games I've played in recent memory. So I also have to talk about Ball X Pit. So this is a game that I had seen gameplay quite a bit of, and I was like, yeah, that game looks fantastic. I can definitely tell it's something I'm really going to enjoy. Then I completely forgot about the game completely. Maybe because there's so much stuff coming out, but yeah, I completely forgot about it. I don't know if it was on the Switch already, but whenever the Switch 2 edition came out is when I picked it up. This game is dangerously addictive. Ball X Pit is a fast-paced fantasy roguelite where heroes must find the balls to plunge deeper in a seemingly bottomless pit of monsters. I almost lost it right there when I read balls to plunge deeper. We gotta get serious over here, man. After a completely unexpected event annihilated the great city, all that remains is ominous, a yawning pit. Treasure hunters far and wide flock to the city's tomb to seek their fortune, plumbing the depths in search of Babylon's scattered riches. So just from what I'm showing you right now, I'm sure you can understand what's going on. What surprised me is like how much customization and unlocking stuff there is, and the gameplay loop is super addictive. This is something I truly feel like everybody can enjoy, and everybody should pick this one up. And the last game I'm talking about today is DEADZONE Rogue. This game came out in the past week, and it's only been a week, so it's kind of hard to tell if something's going to be a hidden gem. But honestly, I haven't seen really too many people talk about this. I've mentioned it a few times already. I even put it in an eShop sell video. And yeah, this game is great. So again, this is a roguelite, and I know we've talked about those a few times in this video. And sometimes when you hear that term, you think immediately you know what you're getting into. It's not for you. It's repetitive. But what this is a roguelite first-person shooter set in space. Blast through hostile machines, forge your build with arguments and elements, and grow stronger each run. And, a huge factor in this game is, yes, it can be played solo, but you can play with up to 3 other people. So that's probably where this game is going to shine the most, is playing with other people. Something I have heard, though, even though I have not played with other people in this game, I heard that when you do play with other people, they make the enemies stronger, which, that makes sense. But if you do play with other people and it feels more difficult, that might be the reason why. You need to fight against massive biomechanical bosses that demand steady aim and quick reflexes, annihilate waves of hunter drones, robotic spiders, the mindless, and dozens of other enemies to survive each run. And then there's over 30 weapons to get, upgrade, modify, all that stuff. You can add elements to them. And a great thing about this is, yeah, the graphics look great, at least in my opinion, but the gameplay and performance is also great. And that is a big thing and stuff like this. So like I said, it's kind of early to say this one is a hidden gem, but unfortunately it looks like it's going that way. That's why I want to mention it now. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most, so in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. What is your favorite hidden gem on the Switch 2 so far? Just let me know. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter on the way out, and consider becoming a channel member. We have 12 members. I would love to get to 15. So consider becoming a channel member. And you guys know me. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.